Hey, what's going on, guys? Patriot Prime here once again with another episode of the SITREP. And I am honored to have Graham, the Collector75, with me for this episode. Graham, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing absolutely brilliant tonight. Thank you, Jason.
Excellent. I am so happy to have you on board. For you guys out there, Graham is the one that I watched when I was first getting into Generation 1. If I was going to spend my money on a G1 toy, this is the guy who I listened to see if I was going to spend that money or not.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to be on it, and I've really wanted to be on this since you first started doing them, actually.
Excellent. Well,
so, yeah, it's all fine.
All right, well, how the SITREP works is I have 10 questions, 5 regarding Transformers, and 5 regarding you as a YouTuber. So the first question is, what's the appeal of Transformers for you?
Oh, that's a good one. The appeal, I think it's all about the fact that it isn't just a robot. It's the fact that it's a robot in disguise, because that is what hooked me on them back in the day. I think I watched on Over It. It was on a children's program called Roll and Rat. And I watched that. I got up one early one, was it summer holiday morning? And all I saw was that first episode of Transformers. And it was the bit where Soundwave was, well, I think it was, who was it? Wheeljack just passes the pylon. And I thought, wow, I was blown away by that. And not only that, but then the pylon just transformed itself. And I wasn't expecting it. And I think from that moment there, it just hooked me. And it's the thing that they can be absolutely anything. And yeah, and it was just that is what hooked me, and it's their appeal. It's still there. It's just that, if that makes sense.
It's going on 40 years and it's still here. And I want to make the comment, you're the only other person I've heard that doesn't call Soundwave a lamppost. You call him a pilot. I don't think he's a lamppost. He's a communications array, because if you watch that scene, there's no light coming from him.
That's right. That's right, exactly. And that's it. And it wouldn't be a bloody lamppost, would it? It'd be, yeah, something a lot more technologically advanced.
Exactly.
I don't know.
They can see in the dark.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's a great scene, that, and I love it. And it's like every other Soundwave I buy, I am always trying to get that pylon mode out of him somehow. And I know the Siege one does, like you showed it. It comes with the extra pylon mode.
It looks like more of a gun emplacement, though. It's got all those cannons on top, but they say it's a lamppost. It's a lamppost.
Yeah. Well, not to me.
Yeah, good. Same here. Same here. All right, sir. Question number 2. Aside from G1, which is always the #1 answer, what's your favorite Transformers fiction?
Oh, well, yeah, because it'd have to be G1 for me. But I think you know what I'm probably going to say. It is definitely going to be Beast Wars, because Beast Wars, for me, it got me back into Transformers. Like after the dark days of Generation 2, I was here for Generation 2. And then Transformers were pretty much done for, and then Beast Wars come along. I watched the TV series, which I absolutely loved. I wasn't expecting to, but it was the first TV series that actually progressively went through episode to episode, and every episode had a bearing on the next episode, if you see what I mean. They weren't just one-off.
It grew up with us, because it started off a real kiddie. And if you remember, I think I can't remember if the first couple episodes, or the first 3 episodes were the beginning. And then the very next episode had that scene of Starscream flying through that you had the Decepticon symbol. So you're like, okay, these are linked. I'm interested now.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that episode with Starscream, because I think it had been mentioned, because I used to be part of like it's like a Transformers collectors thing called Transmasters. I think they were in America and they were over here as well. And in the news that it got, it was going through like the episodes, and it said, oh, Starscream is going to feature in one of the episodes. And I thought, oh, fucking hell, I've got to fucking watch that when that comes along. And I didn't realise it would be in one of the first episodes either. And I thought, wow, that is so cool. And that just hooked me. I think I must have replayed that a little bit. I don't know, because I used to record them on the old VHS cassettes. I must have replayed that about 10 times just the first day that I watched it, because I thought it was just amazing just to see those old G1 characters back in any kind of cartoon fiction.
And that's the first time you actually felt old. Like, that was when I was a kid.
That's it, exactly. And I thought, wow, there's probably children watching this now. And then, but he was there when I was a kid. And I thought, well, if I'd ever have a son back then, I'd be able to show him that and say, well, that's where they came from, you know. But that is my favourite fiction, other than G1, is
well, G1's always the #1 answer.
Yeah,
but I'm like you. I love Beast Wars. I was able to watch the whole series from. I watched it a little bit when it first came out, but I kept missing episodes. I think it was on early morning. I had to go to work, but when I was in Iraq, that's when I got the whole DVD series. And I was able to watch episode 1 through the end. And I mean, I was blown away with the storytelling, especially once season 2 kicked in. And then your guy, Simon Furman, I think took over some of the writing that really took off.
Yeah, he wrote that. I think he wrote the final episode, didn't he? I think there must have been some collusion with, I can't remember who used to write. Was it Bob Forward, I think, used to write some of those episodes, well, most of them. And there must have been a collusion of how they wanted it to end, if you see what I mean. It's not like he just said, "Oh yeah, you can do the second part," and have no idea how it would end or whatever. So they must have had some collusion, but he did write that. I love the first part where he sort of quotes, "I am the Alpha and Omega."
I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end.
Yeah, I love that. That was the best. Oh, I love that episode. Mind you,
now I'm going to have to go watch it again. I love that stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I always find myself going back to it every now and again and just watching some of some brilliant episodes of Beast Wars. I love it. Just absolutely love it. And usually the agenda.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That and when they first get transmitted, first episode of season 2.
Yes. I used to have that one. I got that one as a special on, like it came one of the figures or something. And I had the episode, I think it was Aftermath. Where they turn into the transmetals.
I remember buying, I think, what was his name? Quick Strike came with the DVD.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and coming to the Fusors, yeah.
I had every Predacon, but I sold off all of them except my Megatrons when I really got into G1. So I had to make sacrifices.
That was the first series that I think a mate challenged me to, what's the word? He said, "I bet you can't get every single Transformer going." And back then it was a lot easier because you only had Generation 1 and the start of Beast Wars. And so I thought, well, yeah, why not then? So I just sort of like took him up on it and I tried to get every single one. And that is probably the only series. I think I'm only missing 1 or 2 figures from that entire line. I think I'm just missing. There's a weird Japanese one. I think it's the Taco Tank. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It came with was it a Clawjaw repaint? And he's got like some sort of weird Tron light cycle bike thing that turns into a base or something.
I think I know what you're talking about. I have a Beast Wars source book that IDW put out a few years ago, and I think that was in there. I'll have to look through. And
there's another Volcano set. I couldn't get hold of. That was a very rare one at the time. I don't know about now, but I know back then it was even rare. So I couldn't get hold of that one. But that was about the only two I was missing.
We didn't have the play sets here.
No, no, those crazy Japanese.
All right, sir. Moving on to question number 3. I'm looking forward to hearing your answer on this one. Do you have a favorite figure or a grail, one that you will never let go of? You have to sell your whole collection. This one's not going anywhere.
I do have one, and I've thought about this one quite a lot actually for this question, and I actually came up with 3 because I couldn't narrow it down just to one. And there's one that
anybody I've interviewed has given me just one.
Right. Well, it would have to be. Well, there's sort of 3, and I'll tell you why. First one is G1 Optimus Prime, because I remember that when my brother brought it home for me, he surprised me with it. Because my brother used to buy me a lot when I was a kid, mainly because my parents couldn't afford to. Being, as parents are usually always working and that, and other things to pay for. So he bought me a lot, and he brought me the G1 Optimus Prime, and I loved it, and I've still got it. And for that, and it was plus it's a damn fine toy, that G1 Optimus Prime. The second one is a G1 Megatron, because it is, I don't know, it's just, I mean, the robot mode doesn't look nothing like he does in the cartoon or the comics for that matter, but it's a great toy. And the amount of times I love turning that into its gun and aiming it out the window at anybody walking by that just might. Just to frighten the life out of him when I was a kid.
That gets you shot now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I know. I know.
What's funny is when I invite people up into my office and they see all this for the first time, G1 Megatron is the one I always transform to show them. I said, this one right here, you'll never see again because of the toy laws. And they're just amazed how realistic he looks. I mean, I've got one in great shape. And Tony's watching this right now from my last SITREP. He's just flipping out because we're talking about G1 Megatron.
Yeah. Yeah, he did like that figure, didn't he? He did like it.
That was a weird episode.
I tell you, so it's a great toy, though. It's such an amazing toy, and just how realistic it was. But what kid isn't going to like that, though? Because it was the first one. I think I couldn't have it off my mum and dad for my birthday because they said it was a bit more expensive. But my other brother, he bought it for me. Oh my God, I loved it. I absolutely loved that figure.
G1,
but anyway,
G1 Megatron, Optimus Prime, Soundwave, Ratchet, and Jazz was my '84 Christmas box.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't even remember what I got. Because I was born in September, and I got into them in September 1985. And I got Megatron off my brother. I got Prowl off my other brother. So I've got 3 brothers. And then, and then my mum and dad got me Soundwave, which is my #1, which I'll never, ever get rid of. Because that was the first one I ever got. It's the first one I wanted because of that cool voice that he had in the cartoon.
Oh, best voice of all.
And
hands down.
Plus, he's got all those cassettes that came with him and everything like that. And I loved him, and I had so much fun. Do you know what I don't get as well? Is that people knock Soundwave for his alt mode. And they said, how can you have fun with a tape deck? Especially because it doesn't even work. But to a child, God, I had so much fun with that. You know what I mean? And it's all down to your imagination, isn't it?
It's all playability. I mean, that's what the Siege line's doing right now.
Exactly. I had so much fun with that. And so I never understand the people who knock Soundwave for his alt mode. He could have
the damn kids.
Tape deck all day long, and I would love it. So, yeah. But that is my #1. I would never, ever get rid of that one.
Outstanding.
I seem to be waffling on with these answers to these questions. I'm terrible for doing this.
Hey, I enjoy it. That's what makes this fun. All right, question number 4. What figure is your white whale, your most wanted toy?
I think I did allude to this one on a video response I did to Optimus Prime, actually, because I wasn't sure when I'll get the chance to do this SITREP with you. So I thought, well, I wanted to get it out there, and it's a knockoff figure of a Generation 1 Overlord figure. Ooh. And what makes it special is the fact that it comes with Star Saber's head for some bizarre unknown reason. But it's extremely rare. I've only ever seen one on eBay, and I missed the opportunity to get it. It went for like £200 or £300 at the time, and this was about 6, 7, 8 years ago. I can't remember exactly when. And it came with the box. I should have bid on it, really. I should have bid on it. But with a knockoff, you never know exactly how much it's worth. So I decided that was a bit too expensive for me. But I've never seen it again. And I'm going
to have to look that one up. I remember you talking about it in Tadimus's video. There's your plug, Taddy. And I remember looking it up, but now I can't recall it right now. If I can remember I'll find an image and throw it in on this video.
It's a cool figure. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but for me, I like the odd figures. The odd ones really stand out for me.
Your new video on those goofy Seacons was hilarious. That was the ugliest looking toy that I want.
It's strange. I'll tell you what, for some reason, I love the legs on it. The legs look really good. I don't know what it is. They just look better than the original Generation 1 toy. I think they've got slightly better proportions or something.
Well, Generation 1 can't stand straight. Mine's always leaning forward.
Yeah, mine does that. I tell you, a lot. Yeah, it's a shame with
scoliosis.
Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, because if they just stood up, it's like Menasor. My Menasor was always flopping over forwards. I could never get him to stand when I was a kid.
Yeah, mine, same way.
Yeah, it's just a shame.
All right, last Transformers question. What is your favorite Transformer character, any fiction, any media? Don't say Rescue Bots.
No. That was quite a funny one. I wasn't expecting that either on that answer. It would be Generation 1 Galvatron from the Marvel UK comics, because that was a character that was depicted as impossible to kill, incredibly powerful and completely insane, and which was just what's the word I'm looking for? The backbone of the UK comics from like issue 78, which was like about, I think it was around about summer 1986, somewhere like that, all the way through to about 88, 89. And that character was just like I say, the backbone that propped it all up. All the storylines, in some way or not, the UK storylines anyway, revolved around him. And they were just some of the best storylines that I ever remember reading.
Oh, they
really
were. I loved the Time Wars I loved the Time Wars series. That's the only one of the UK that I read. I had those in reprint books. I mean, they were huge.
I know.
And I had all those. I thought, and Galvatron had one of the best death scenes where the time storm just ripped him apart. And you see, holy hell, he's a skeleton underneath. That was pretty cool. But I was so disappointed that IDW is not carrying on with their reprints of those, because I sold off my big books in the hopes I'd get the little small graphic novels, and they stopped at issue 5.
Yeah, I still haven't been able to figure out why they stopped that, because I think I had issue 6 not pre-ordered as such. I saw it on Amazon, and I was going to get it, and then for some reason I thought I won't pre-order it because I'll just wait for a bit later and it might come down in price like some of the other ones. And then for some reason it just got deleted straight away.
Yeah.
And then couldn't even find it anywhere. So like you say, it never got brought out, and I can't even understand why. I actually thought it might have been because of these, because they're bringing out these at the moment in the UK, which is like the definitive collection. And it's got everything from the Marvel UK, Marvel US, all the way up to IDW. So maybe it's a licensing issue. Maybe that whoever they sold the license to them,
that they said it can't.
Sense. Yeah, there can't be any other reasons why they're bringing that out. Maybe, I don't know, but it's a shame, really, because I was enjoying those books because they're great, because it had all the articles and everything, some of the reprint letter pages and everything out of the comics. I thought that was great. I really enjoyed them, and I wanted to get them as well.
And I need to increase my knowledge on them, because all my G1 videos, I talk about American Marvel and American Season 1. I get so many comments, well, in the UK, I was like, I know, but I don't know that well.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame. And I'll tell you what, it's like when I was reading that comic back years ago, when I was a kid, I didn't even realise, because they merge it so seamlessly in with the American stuff. I didn't even realise that the American one differed, or the UK stories were UK stories, because I just thought, oh, that's just how it was progressing each week. You could tell the difference in art and everything like that. And I also realised that there were certain stories that I really liked, and I just, I fell in love with Simon Furman. That's why I'm a bit like, on the new IDW stuff, I can't seem to, I can't gel with it unless it's wrote by Simon Furman for some reason. I don't know.
I quit reading IDW, I think it was after the All Hail Megatron series.
Yeah,
and
so did I.
And it pretty much just ended there. So I thought, I'm done. Of course, I don't have any comic shops around me. Everything I get has to be digital or wait on Amazon until it comes out in the graphic novel form.
Right, yeah. I usually get mine off eBay. I'm a big eBay person. To be honest, I buy way too much off eBay. You know, I'm terrible.
Yeah, I feel you there. All right, sir. Well, that wraps up our Transformers questions. Now we're going to get to know you as a YouTuber. And question number 6 is, what possessed you, a grown-ass man, to do toy reviews on YouTube?
Yeah, that's another good question. You've been doing them
for a while.
Yes, and well, I think I've told this story a few times. There was a toy that I bought off eBay, and it was an Alternators Jazz, and it didn't come in instructions, and I could not figure out how to transform it. And then I remembered I think it was on one of the sites that I usually visit, probably Transformers 2005 probably, that someone has said about a video review. And I thought, oh yeah, there's that YouTube in there. I'll have a look to see if someone's done one on there, and I might figure out how to transform it. So I've done all that. And I realised, I don't know how, but it had actually been assembled the wrong way. But I thought you couldn't have bought it like that. See, at some time the bloke must have taken it apart and reassembled it wrong. So I figured that. But then, like you say, you get your recommendations down the bottom. And I saw other things and other people reviewing just toys that I had and I loved. And I saw a few people, and then you see other people. And then suddenly you're thinking, oh, I can do this. And you just want to show off what you've got. You know, you want to say, oh, I've got this as well. This is my opinion on it. And yeah, and not only that, is because, especially in my area, there isn't no one else who likes Transformers around here, really. Not that I really know.
That's me. That's me.
And it was a great way,
because somebody's buying it at Walmart.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I always wondered that as well, because every time I used to go to Toys R Us, I was thinking, well, there's got to be other people bloody buying them. Well, I never seem to see anyone picking them up. But yeah, but it was a great way of interacting with other people, other collectors, other fans of the series, really, that you just don't get to necessarily talk to, even. Because I used to go to a few conventions before I was on YouTube, and I'm quite a shy person. I don't seem it sometimes, but I am quite a shy person. And I used to go there, and I wouldn't speak to anybody while I was there. And I also used to find them a bit that a lot of the people were not cliquey as such, but they all had their own little friendships, if you know what I mean, when you go there. And yeah, I don't know, I'm being quite a shy person anyway. It's been cool now. You're by that toilet, so I'm going home now. And so, but it also helped with that side of it. So then when I went to a convention when I did start doing YouTube, I knew lots of other people, and it was such a breath of fresh air, really, especially for me. Yeah.
Chris and Natalie rave about you. Chris Perry and Natalie Perry from they rave about you anytime you're mentioned. There's he's such a nice guy. I keep telling them because we belong to a Facebook group, and I'm like, I am trying my damnedest to get a hold of him because I would love to talk face to face to the guy that cost me to buy most of this back here in the back.
Yeah, well, that's it's funny you should mention them, because I think that's how I met you on one of their live stream videos they were doing, because I try and keep my eye out for someone doing live streams. I love watching live stream videos. And it was you messaged me on there, didn't you? And I checked out your channel. I thought, wow, look at this channel. It's a brilliant channel. It's so much better than mine. And it's so much more professional.
I film everything on my phone. This little thing right here is what I do everything on.
Yeah, I've got to admit, that's what I do now. I mean, years ago, I used to have this. I've given it to my son now because he likes taking pictures. I used to have like an old digital camera. But that got a scratch right down the middle of the lens. And I thought, of all the places it could get a scratch. So I couldn't use that anymore. And then my phone is actually way better than that bloody digital camera now, apart from the autofocus, which annoys me a lot. But yeah, but that's what I do.
Great. I think that kind of goes into question number 7 is what keeps inspiring you to get in front of your camera?
Well, that is because of people like you, people like Rudy, Zort Rider, Dave Shotton, everybody, T. Arthur Wilderness, in fact. It's everybody that just knows everybody, and it's such a good community. Yeah, that's what it is, because there's times when I feel like, oh, do you know what? I can't bother to do this anymore. Sometimes I ain't got the time and whatever to put into it. But I'll go back on YouTube one day and you'll see a comment from someone, and it's such a nice comment, and you think, do you know what? That's why I do it. It's sort of like community feel, if you see what I mean. And that's why
without a doubt, I have met so many cool people doing this. Never in a million years would I thought I'd be making friends and meeting people. I mean, you're across the ocean. And I've met you.
Yeah.
So this is great. I love it. And
yeah, that's it exactly. Yeah. And I wouldn't have it any other way, actually. I think that community feel that goes with this is just one of the best things. Again, alluding back to one of my other previous questions, that is just what keeps me going, is that community feel. Because if it wasn't for that, I would probably not go to conventions that much, because what's the point at a convention? Sometimes you get on eBay. So it's really helped me continue to go to them now.
I am so excited. We've got TF Con coming here in October, and it's just 4 hours away. So I'm going to try my damnedest to go to that one. My wife was worried because it's close to Washington, D.C. with everything that's going on. I'm like, it's outside of Washington, so I won't be right there. All right, question number 8. Now, this question kind of goes when I interview the newer guys, but we'll throw it your way. There are thousands of toy reviewers on YouTube. What makes you different than the rest?
I don't know if it makes...
That's why.
I don't know if it makes me different, but I've always tried to do my videos in a certain style of that. I try and be honest about everything. And I just try and do it like that person where you've opened the toy for the first time and you might have transformed it once, and then you're just showing them what your honest opinion is on that. And if you have trouble transforming it from that point on, like I do a lot of the time, especially on the newer figures. Newer figures, I can't bloody transform sometimes.
I have to split those reviews in a couple of days. I will actually film the intro and outro, and in 2 days I'm playing with it. Then I'll film the figure itself.
That's it. That's it. and that's what I do, I think, because I've tried doing it professionally, you know, like take my time and doing it, and I think I still make cock-ups and mistakes, and so I don't bother trying to edit them out anymore. I just think I'd stick with it. I might edit a little bit here and there.
I think my favorite ones that you film is you can see you're filming and you're like, only have 1 minute of memory left on my camera. Okay, let's get this done. Oh shit, only got 30 seconds left.
Yeah, that's it exactly. I think, oh, do you know what? Yeah, fuck it. Who cares? Fuck it. That's how. And that's what I just think. Well, there ain't too many other people that do it like that, so that's how I stuck with doing it. And for better or worse, that's what I do.
And it works. It works. I love your channel. I keep going back to it. Graham and I were talking before we actually started recording this session. He's the one that inspired me for some of the tweaks I do on my figures. My Generation 1 Octo Punch. Graham, years ago, put a plastic lens on the inside of his, which inspired me to do the same for mine, because that makes Octopunch looks like, I can't talk. That makes Octopunch looks like he has the glass in his dive helmet, and definitely improves the figure. So it's amazing what a little piece of water bottle can do, and I thank you for that.
There you go, yeah. See, and it was doing exactly what I said. It actually held up to the camera. You're getting that sort of like reflection of you would have if it was a proper glass, if you know what I mean.
Well, I see too many reviewers do this. Yeah, put glass in it. Looks cool. That's it.
Yeah, that's...
All right. Number 9, and you kind of hit this already, is what's your thoughts on the Transformers social community, i.e. YouTube, Facebook, etc.? I know you do Instagram. Do you have any special shout-outs?
Right. Let's have a look. I'll start with the first bit. What's my view on the community? Like I said, I've talked about that a bit already, but it's a great community. Like a few other people have said, you get your trolls and everything, and I've seen some nasty trolls on YouTube. Mainly a long time ago. Like, for example, there was a guy, you probably won't know him. He was called Van Horzo. And he used to do some of the most offbeat Transformer video review things. But it was just a crack up. He'd usually load them in with sexual innuendos and everything, which was just highly amusing, especially when you get some figures like called Nightbeat, and he would allude to what he's doing.
Especially the headmasters.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I mean. But unfortunately, there was obviously people that took offence to that. And he got trolled off YouTube, and he would refuse. He never came back, and I've never seen him since. And that was like, what, about 9 years ago? And it's a crying shame. So apart from those people, it's a great community, and I love doing it. Usually when I get a troll comment, I just ignore it, because that's what you do to bullies and stuff. You ignore them, they fucking get bored, and they don't bother doing it no more, do they?
Nope, move on to the next guy. I've deleted quite a few just because of my channel's name. The way the political climate is. I get them all the time.
I don't, you know what that really winds me up, actually, because I think people who are in the army, especially because my friend's daddy used to be in the army, and I think people who risk their lives doing that, and I think, why the fuck do people fucking want to hate and all that fucking shit, and fucking does my head.
It's the cool thing to do now for the kids, but like you said, the good old delete button, that's a godsend.
That's it. Yeah. That's it, yeah. Delete and block. That's what I do like sometimes. But for the shout outs, I think, well, to be honest, I don't know, it's a hard one, isn't it? Because I want to shout out every single person that I know, but that would take me a very long time.
My memory's about 30 minutes on this application, so...
Let's have a look. Well, we've got Tatmas Prime. Tatmas Prime is a great guy. He deserves more subscribers. He is a really great guy. You've got Transformers and Video Games, My Life in Collecting, TFR Wilderness. Now, TFR Wilderness, I don't know if you know him at all. He's got the same name as you, actually, as Jason. And he is the one that really connected me back to not a fan base, what am I talking about? Just people. Because I went to a convention over here called Rollout Roll Call back in 2016. And he had messaged me a few times saying, oh, I bought a toy off you. You know, it'd be nice to meet up and that. And I thought, well, I don't really go to these things anymore. So I can't even remember if I replied, really. But then I did go to this one, and he saw me, and he made a point of coming over and saying how he watched my videos, and I inspired him to do his videos. And I thought, wow, that is so nice. And I've never thought of myself as an inspiring person, really. And then lots of other people said the same thing. And so really, I owe it to him, really, that I started then re-watching videos, because I sort of went through a hiatus, really, of just watching the same old sort of people and just not really doing a lot. That was about 5-6 years ago. And so then I reconnected with it all and looking for new people to watch. And then suddenly you realise that there's a whole new load of people out there, and they're brilliant people. And like I say,
everybody knows everybody. I mean, you can hop on one video with like, oh, I know everybody commenting on this YouTube video. So it's like our own little clique.
Yeah. That's it, exactly, yeah. And it's just, yeah, it's just great. Yeah, so I've got him to thank for that, and there's loads of other people. You've got Zortride, he was a great guy. I met at TF Nation 2018 for the first time. He was a fantastic guy. He's another great, he's one of the Figure Force people. You've got Rudy.
That was so funny. I took the day off because Dylan was sick. I'm downstairs washing dishes, and all of a sudden Rudy, he messaged me about the Soundwave video I just put on. And I was like, oh my God, what are you doing right now? And that's how I got him on the SITREP, because, you know, the time difference between us. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
he's a real good guy.
He's a really nice guy. And I met him last year at TF Nation, and I thought, wow, now he is a really guy, and he's got so much enthusiasm for what he does and just his collecting in general. And sometimes as well, he can be really like earthbound in person. Because I think I messaged him the other day. There's a comic I'm trying to get off eBay, and he also does the good thing. A lot of other people will say, "Oh no, just go out and get it. If you want it, go out and get it." But he does say, "Do you really want it?" Do you know what I mean? And then you sort of do think about, do you really need it? Because half the time you buy something, you're just sticking it away somewhere, and so that's good. I like that about him.
I think about that sometimes. I'll go and I'll spend all this money, like you go and piece together a G1. I'm working on his review right now, and I'm like, I've spent all this time. I've been hunting this guy down for probably about a year, because I bought the shell and the figure. I don't really like the human pretenders, the Autobots, but I might as well put him together. And so now that I've got him looking clean. I'm going to review him. Then he's going on that bottom shelf, probably behind Double Dealer, never to be seen again until I test.
That's it. Is he quite an expensive one to put together? Because I bought one a long time ago.
He wasn't bad. I actually, like I said, I had to get a pretender shell for Bugley, the back half of mine. Somebody glued the antennas in. So I got the antennas out, but I destroyed the shell. So this guy was selling the back shell in a lot with his complete shell and the inner robot. But it was only $20. So I grabbed it. Put them all together. Then I was hunting him down and found a guy who sold the complete shell with the helmet, the gun, and the little tail blaster for like $30. So I got him together for probably about 40.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. That is pretty good.
As soon as I do it, I ran into another Interbot. So what I'm going to do is Bert the Stormtrooper. He took his and painted it to look just like G1 Grimlock. So I think since I have a spare, he doesn't have any paint on his eyes. So I'm not feeling too bad about painting him up. So I'm going to try my hand at customizing.
Yes.
We'll see how that goes.
Good.
I've got a red paint pen and a black paint pen. So I'm going to see what I can do with this.
Oh, right. Wow, I've never seen them before. I've seen the chrome ones. I've never seen the other ones. Are they just like marker pens, or are they actually proper paint?
Pretty much. They got paint in them. You got to shake them up. There's a little ball on the inside, but they're actually for painting. Oh. My wife paints rocks. We go down and get these river rocks and paints. So she does those, and it works on the plastic pretty well. I've taken, I don't have a figure to show you. I usually add details to some figures. Like, well, give me 1 second. I'll edit this, of course. Like my Titans Return Galvatron, I gave him his little UK goatee.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, that helmet comes from Toy Hacks. They really improved this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that helmet makes all the difference on him.
Yeah, because without it, that figure sucked.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. Yeah, good old Hasbro. Out the fucker figure up.
All right, well, last one, buddy, is plug yourself. Show my people where to see you. Of course, I think everybody knows where to find you, buddy.
Yeah, well, you can find me at the Collector75. No real reason why I gave myself that name, other than the fact that my mate, again, he did used to call me the Collector out of Simpsons. I don't know if you remember this, that bloke, the big fat comic book guy. One episode he was called the Collector. I can't remember. I think that was the one with Xena Warrior Princess, I think. But yeah, so you can find me there. I do lots of Transformers videos. I do other toys occasionally, usually when I remember to. And I do some comics sort of videos. And I do some video game sort of like videos these days. I'm trying to mix things up, keep it sort of fresh and new. Yeah, so that's where you can find me. And also on Instagram. There you go. That's about it.
Well, at the end of this video, I will link some of Graham's videos at the end and where to find him in the description. And that's pretty much it for my SITREP questions. Graham, I thank you again for meeting up with me. I'm so glad we were finally able to do this.
No, well, thank you, because it's been an absolute, like that, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Excellent.
And I've been doing it for absolutely ages.
Well, that makes me feel good. It's like, this is awesome. This is awesome. All right, guys, so don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. I try to put up new SITREPs at least every Friday, but now I'm getting guests lining up left and right. Who knows when they'll pop up. Once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for Graham being on the show. This is Patriot Prime, signing out. Hoo-ah! Hey, I really appreciate you guys stopping by my channel. Don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out some of my other videos that I've done on Generation 1 Transformers, Modern Era Transformers, and Toy Hacks Repro Label sets. Once again, this is Patriot Prime. Hoo-ah!